good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
What's greetings, Earth?
Same genius time.
Any demographic I identify with.
I don't believe you murder.
I think an ignorant voter and a non-voter
What he did. He took the military out
are
before
one and
he
the
took
same.
the civilians.
Same
Who does
genius
that?
channel.
Under his watch.
What
Know
has
something,
he done
bro.
about police reform in this country? Nothing.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Unsolicited Genius. I am your curator, Carlton Ennis. I am joined today by he who knows more than most Mo's, Mr. Mo Lotfi. On today's show, we will talk about hip-hop, categorically speaking, football, and more football, and the new King of Gotham. We hope to give you something to ponder. Uncle Mo, what is happening, my brother?
Nothing, man. Just dog. Mondays are the worst days, dog. But other than that, a blessed life.
Yeah, they're the worst days, especially if you're a 49ers or a New York Giants fan. It was a tough day for both our teams yesterday. How you holding up?
I mean, it's different for me. You expect that. I thought we were gonna be something. So
I had hope. I still picked them, but I'm done with that now. I'm not picking them no more.
I was teasing you in the beginning of the year about Jonay needs to play some music to warn the guests when you start talking about the Giants. We're gonna do the same for the 49ers. An irrelevant team. An irrelevant team, dog.
Yeah. So you done? You've got no more hope, or where are you at with them? With your Niners?
I'm at the blow up the team phase where I want to see Kyle Shanahan gone. I think that window for this team is closed, man. We're just gonna go down in history as one of those teams that got close but could never get over the hump. So I'm resigned to that faith at this point.
Close without a cigar. Sorry.
Unfortunately, we're not playing horseshoes, so close is not good enough.
All right. Well, I'm scouting quarterbacks in college football, so I'm looking for who will be our future. So that's where I'm at. I was hoping, the Eagles aren't a great team, so I was hoping somebody would have found some spice, somebody would have found some magic, but we are who we are, and that is who we've been. Who?
Saquon Barkley found some magic.
Yeah. And that's, the part to me, I'm not at blow up the team at this point. It's nothing to blow up. We're rebuilding, so to speak. But to see Saquon ball, I don't know if he finished with 200 yards, but I know he got close. And to see Daniel Jones do the opposite in New York in front of our fans, it's a referendum on the management. It's a referendum on the owner. Maybe I give Daboll a slight pass. He got to do better as a play caller. But Saquon's return to New York showed who the star was. So shame on us.
It was bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know football. Anything else on your mind you want to get off before we get into our headliner for the day?
No, man. Just ready to go, homie.
All right. Well, at the time of this recording, we are a week away from 2 weeks away from presidential election. So we talk a lot about it. Everybody educate yourself and get out there and vote. That's my PSA for the day.
I mean, I would also encourage people not to just educate themselves on their candidate, but especially if you live in the South, you need to educate yourself on what the proper procedures are to make sure that your vote counts. So there are people trying to strip you of the right that a lot of the good ancestors fought for you to gain. So it will not hurt you to just do a little bit of research and make sure you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, so you don't have any issues when you go cast your ballot.
Amen, he said. All right, for today's headliner, we're going to keep topic a little lighter, have a little fun with it. I was scrolling the internets and came across this clip that I'm about to share.
Should we be separating music that is made by older rappers and call it like adult contemporary like other genres do, and then separate it from the younger artists?
Why is it that our genre of hip hop continues to underserve our own music? Like how there's a soft rock, hard rock, alternative rock. Why does that have so many sections and our genre doesn't? Why is Nas on the same chart as 310 Baby? 310 Baby graduated high school yesterday.
Sheesh.
Left, right, baby, let's do it. Yeah. How the fuck is he on the same chart that if Too Short dropped tomorrow, Too Short has to compete with a kid who just finished chemistry homework?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Cause y'all all just niggas that rap. Feel like Uncle Ruckus. Y'all all just rap. Ain't y'all all just rapping? All of y'all is the same shit. That's the energy we're talking about. That's the way they view it. I'm joking, but that's the way they view it. Can we stop saying a 45, 50-year-old rapper fell off because they can't compete in the same genre in which the demographics skew so differently? Will we view it differently if they were number one in their category? I think we would. I think we'd have a lot more respect in general about the way that we talk about their numbers.
If Jay-Z drops tomorrow, Jay-Z should not be competing with Ice Spice.
Should we be separated?
Craig's not here for this convo. We've heard him on several occasions talk about the distinction between hip hop and rap. But being that we grew up in it, it is a part of our culture, part of what shaped us who we are. What's your thoughts? What's your reactions to the categorization of our preferred brand of music?
Well, you know where I disagree with Craig is I do believe it's all hip hop now. Whether you like it or not is a totally different thing. So, I'll be honest with you, man. That shit don't matter to me. I like what I like. So, well, no matter, regardless of what you classify it as, it's irrelevant to me. You know, if Jay-Z dropped an album tomorrow, I'd listen to the album. If Nas drops an album, I'll listen to the album. What I will say, man, is if you look at our generation of rappers and even today, if you watch them freestyle or you watch them spit something, you see the talent, man. These boys were poets. I'm not criticizing this new generation because I think I've said it 1,000 times. No one is happier for Ice Spice making her money than me. But her music, like, I can't get down on that. Like, I wish her nothing but the best. I hope her, Sexy Red, all of them. Even though I got a chance to check out Glorilla's album a little bit, man. I can't lie. I like that Glorilla.
You like it?
I like that Glorilla, man.
All
Something
right.
about that little Memphis twang she got. I really like, dog. But I've just always been with music, man. I don't care what you classify it as. You know, to me, I just listen to the music that speaks to me, you know, that sounds good. So it's irrelevant what you want to label it as, dog, whether I'm listening to Jay-Z or Too Short or Snoop or from completely different coasts, completely different sounds, even back in the day when we were coming up. I just like what I like. I like what sounds pleasing to my ear.
And that's fair. I think at the end of the day, I won't even say at the end of the day, as you said, that the categorization of it has no impact on what I'm going to listen to later tonight, what I listen to tomorrow, or whose concert I attend. Where it resonated with me is I think about the acknowledgement of what hip hop is, has been, is, and will be, and the role that a Nas, Jay-Z, Killer Mike, those artists who we're more inclined to listen to are still having in the influence of of a people, of a culture, and not just a culture, because hip hop at this point has influence, impact on the world. So I think it becomes relevant when we talk accolades, when we talk award ceremonies, when we talk income, when we talk, income impact and some of those other things. So I'm assuming that that's the vantage point from which that clip we watched is coming from, where the dialogue is coming from. Because I think I want everybody to get their flowers. I want Ice Spice to get her flowers. I want Nas to get his flowers. I want Big Boy 3 Stacks, T.I. I want everybody, if they got art in them, I want them to be able to project that art and be able to get their flowers for the art. But when everything is labeled, when all of it's labeled hip hop, all of it's labeled rap or some variation of the two, things get left out. And we've already established the Grammys don't dictate greatness, but it also meant a lot to Killer Mike to win a Grammy. And from what I recall, his sales weren't that great, but the acknowledgement was also I won't say weren't great. His sales weren't out of the roof, but the acknowledgement was in the quality of the product that he produced. And we know that meant a lot to him. So that's where it becomes a little relevant for me. Don't impact what I listen to, won't impact what I stream or download or whatever. But I think that's one of the vantage points that they were coming at it from.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they're coming at it from, but there was a time where Outkast wasn't considered to be, the normal rap of the day, and hence the name Outkast. At the end of the day, though, it'll always all be hip hop to me, man. Like Ice Spice is still hip hop. Like
Ice Spice, all that's hip hop.
To me, in my mind, it's all hip hop, because rap is a part of hip hop. Hip hop is a cultural thing that deals with dancing and rap music and style and graffiti, and all those things will always be a part of hip hop in my eyes. Now, is there parts that I don't like? Absolutely, but it doesn't mean it's not part of hip hop just because I don't like it. I'm not a big believer in, like, that's not real hip hop. Like, you're not gonna hear me say that, because it's an evolving thing, dog. It's something that evolves, and it goes from generation to generation, and different generations like different things. So if you and I were talking to someone that grew up on Rakim, they might believe he's like the top MC ever, and that's cool, because music is always going to be an opinion-based feeling, dog. It might mean something more to me than it does to someone else.
Yeah. And I think before that clip, I hadn't really thought in comparison of South rock, pop, contemporary, the different categories and labels that exist. So I don't know that I would have a definitive label, so to speak, beyond hip hop, beyond what they're doing is rapping, because that's to me, rapping is an action word. What do you do? I rap. What are you doing? I'm rapping. So that's what rap is to me. It's what they're doing. Nas is rapping. Ice Spice is rapping. Hip hop is the category. Hip hop is the culture. Hip hop is the fashion and the art and the energy, and if nothing else, for lack of another word, the spirit in the music. So we have the hip hop awards. And so in the hip hop awards, you got categories of things. And I think that's where the recognitions are able to occur mostly. I haven't watched an award show in a minute, but I don't know. I think for me, the want to is for those that have earned it, who have worked for it and produced the art for it. I just want them all to be able to get their flowers while they're alive. Because, you know, every time I hear DMX on a commercial or see an old clip of him rapping, of him praying, or him being the artist that he was, I get sad, man. I get sad because he gone. And I know he felt love. I know he got love, but I also know he's probably in the history of hip hop, he's one of the greatest balls of energy, I think, that have come through that genre. And you know, he didn't get enough flowers, I don't think, before he was gone. So that's my thinking.
I mean, you know, in that clip though, they're talking essentially about like recognition of #1 albums, but I just don't care about that stuff, dog. Like, that's never mattered to me. Like, whether you sold 1,000 copies or you sold 10 million copies, you know, like Jay-Z, who I love, sold millions and millions of albums, right? Common hasn't sold the amount of albums that Jay-Z sold, but I love Common's music. Like, if any young people are listening to the show, I would highly recommend you go listen to the song I Used to Love Her, which is an ode to the journey that hip hop went through, you know, during that time. And it's just like, I'm a big fan of good music. I'll put it to you that way. I'm a big fan of good music, man.
All right. Well, yeah, we're not going to beat it up. I don't have no answers. We're not going to change anything overnight. But at least my takeaway is I will go give Glorilla a listen, because I had not planned on it. I heard the one song with her. I heard one song with her and Sexy Red, and I was like, I'll pass, but I'll go give him a listen.
Yeah, well, I pass on most things that feature Sexy Red, but shout out to her making her money, man.
Yeah, shout out to her making her money. But, well, we'll see. I think we'll say that for another episode, because it seems that there's also a lot of the newer, younger artists, Ice Spice, Sexy Red included, that everything that meets the eye is not necessarily what it seems. And so there's a lot of them also on that struggle bus, because they might be on social media, but them album sales not hitting how they need them to.
I mean, there's a bunch of posers, and always been a bunch of posers in hip hop. So jewels are rented, dog. That jewelry's rented.
Well, Tyrese just did his little interview, and he said he wouldn't have it any other way. He said he tired of losing stuff, tired of replacing stuff, tired of worrying about who might take it or steal it. He like, it glisten, the light shine off of it well enough, I'm good. That's all they need.
But see, and I saw that interview, and it was funny, and I fully understand. But dog, I guess my feeling after the interview was like, then why do you even feel a need to do this? Like, why can't you just not rock any jewelry? Like, why is it so critical to have something that glisten because it somehow appeals to other people or gets you compliments, especially from people who are irrelevant? So that would be a topic for another day, though.
Yeah, that's a whole episode in and of itself. I think it's a valid question that you ask. You know, I don't begrudge anybody that likes what they like, whatever feels good, whatever they put on and wear that looks good when they look in the mirror, when they walk about, they have an extra pep in their step. But there does exist a line where you're doing it for you and versus doing it for the likes. And I think that's all what's in it to be explored. All right. On that, you got something?
No, I was just gonna say, man, like to your point, a lot of people like doing something because you like it, to me, is one thing, but doing something because you think other people will like it is how we've ended up in this malaise of social media, where we're just like posting shit because, and you're like checking your phone every 30 seconds. How many likes do I have? How many likes do I have? How many likes do I have? Whereas I'm like, you know, I don't care. Like that, like that to me is not something we should be striving for as a society.
So another takeaway from us to them, Unsolicited Genius suggests not doing it for the gram. Do it for you, not the gram. And on that, we'll take a 30-second break and be right back.
PM.
Welcome back. This is Unsolicited Genius, the podcast show. Uncle Mo, what in the sports? I will have to tell you, college football is hot right now. College football is heat hot right now. I'm enjoying this college football tremendously. So being today, October 21st, the weekend prior to big game was Georgia versus UT. What did you see in the weekend that stood out to you, whether it be that game or any of the many others?
Well, for the Georgia UT game, I would say, welcome to the SEC, Texas. Not all that's correct. Georgia beat the shit out of Texas, man. Like, they physically just, like, dominated them in that game. And that game wasn't even as close as the score made it appear, man. I thought that was very, very impressive from Georgia.
Were you surprised?
I thought it'd be a closer game. I did think Georgia was going to win because, one, their physical, but I also thought Georgia was the more desperate team. Like, they kind of needed to win because they didn't want to get 2 losses. Touchdown, Baker. Woo, my bad. We're watching Monday Night Football as we do the podcast too. The one aspect of that game I want to talk about though is the referees. I thought the pass interference call was wrong. That the one they called that was it hurt Texas because Texas got the pick. They called pass interference, but Doc, you can't change the call because there's a delay in the game because fans are throwing bottles into the end zone. You kind of like are encouraging that behavior now. So whether they meant to do that or not, that's kind of what it came off as. Alabama's in trouble. Alabama is in big trouble. Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. So, they have 2 losses. I think they're in a little bit of trouble. They essentially have to win out. And then you also got to think when they're looking at Alabama's resume at the end, one of those losses is to Vanderbilt. So, I think Alabama is in big trouble. But I agree with you, man. The college football season's been fire. Like, they're giving us these great matchups week in and week out of these top ranked teams. And it's been awesome to watch, man. It's been awesome to watch.
Yeah, I like you thought Georgia would win. I thought it would be a closer game, but seeing it, living in Austin, knowing UT's history, this team is a better team than they've had since I've lived here. Maybe the best team they've had since I've lived here, but they're not SEC. They're not quite SEC ready yet. I think the rest, now that they've had this intro, let's see how they adjust, see how they respond, because they have more significant games coming up. So I'm interested now to see how Texas responds now that they've gotten this exposure. Now that they've gotten this exposure, I don't want to say that they've been exposed, but now that they've gotten this exposure, let's see how they respond. Because, like you said, Georgia put that wallop on them.
They manhandled them, man.
Florida State still losing, so no tears to them. Duke beat them for the first time ever.
They're 1-6. It's unbelievable.
Listen, the Hurricanes are still managing the role. But they have Florida State next week or this week, so let's see how that goes. I thought the Miami-Louisville game has been great. Unfortunately, I feel like Louisville is actually a pretty good team. They just had several close games that they've lost, so they're out of the runnings at this point. But that was an exciting game. That went back and forth. What else did I see? Your Gators.
Miami's problem is they don't look like they can stop anybody, dog. They look like they're banking on we're just gonna go out there and outscore you every week, and I'm not sure that is the normal formula you see for championship winning teams.
Right.
So, but Cam Ward is, dog. There's times where he's under pressure, and it looks like he's just walking around them, like he's so calm, like just quick sidestep, little sprint out right, and then just a little flick of the wrist, and he's made a hell of a play. So,
you know who that reminds me of? I don't know. I'm not rating or comparing their talent, but Louisville acknowledged him during the game, Teddy Bridgewater. He seemed like he was always cool under the pocket. He was real cool, calm, and collected. So I seeing Cam move and, like you said, do what he does, it reminds me of Bridgewater when he was healthy. What about do you want Cam on your NFL team? Not the Niners, but generally speaking, is that a quarterback you want?
Shit, I'll take Cam on the Niners. I know you saw Brock Purdy play yesterday.
I saw some of it. I heard the stats. I saw some of it. So
I'm all in favor. If you can get a good quarterback on a rookie deal, dog, that's how you open up a window where you have an opportunity to shake something. So, like, to me, when I watch this rookie class with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, those two teams in particular, because they look like they have something there. In these next few years, they should be going all in to surround them with talent and try to take a Super Bowl before they have to pay them big money. So, yeah, I'd want Cam Ward on my NFL team. Cam, Shador, both of them boys look nice, man.
How you feeling about your Gators? They pulled one. They had a pretty good victory.
I mean, yeah, because Kentucky's beat our ass 3 times in a row. But, dog, the Gators should have beat Tennessee last week. Like, the Gators outplayed Tennessee, but
yeah.
Somehow in the first half, we were in the red zone 4 times and scored 3 points, which is like an amazing thing to do. But they are playing better, man. But, it's hard. It's hard to be excited when you can't get anything out of the season. Like, we're not going anywhere. So, and we know we're not going to have this coach by the end of the year. So it's just like, we look better, though. I'm excited to see Lagway. I'm hoping whoever the next coach is could get some talent to surround him with, because I think we got some with him.
Mm-hmm. So answer me this, because I'm not clear on it. So prior to the 12, this year's playoff arrangement, 6 wins, 500 made you eligible for a bowl game, correct?
Yes.
Is that the case this season, or has that also changed?
I'm not sure if that's changed or not, but if you're not in the playoff, man, like, does it matter what bowl you're in if you're playing on November 30th?
It doesn't matter what bowl you're in if you're in a bowl game. So that's my point, because my hope for our Gators is that we could get to a bowl game. That just when it's cold outside and we got Christmas music and eggnog flowing, that at some point during the holiday season, I can sit down and watch my team ideally perform well in some sort of bowl game, even if it's the whodunit from where they came from. It don't matter. Just
no, man, those
in it versus not in it.
You'd
rather have no bowl game than any bowl game?
In the IHOP Pancake Bowl.
So you would rather have no bowl game. So you would rather have no bowl game.
No bowl game. than be
I want
playing
a
in
bowl
one of
game.
those crappy
I need a bowl game. I need a
Dude,
bowl
we're
game.
the Mighty Gators. We shouldn't be in the Idaho Potato Bowl.
I know. And because we were the Mighty Gators, I never imagined we would be in scenarios where bowl games weren't an option.
No, I'd rather watch like the Little Giants and the annexation of Puerto Rico.
No, give me my bowl game. I want a bowl game. I
you're
want
crazy.
now. We've stunk it up in some bowl games, so don't give me that. But give me my bowl game.
Every time we're in one of those bowl games, I cringe. I just cringe.
When we were making them consistently and then got in them, yes. But having not made last year, a couple of years before that, we've not made bowl games, and I got a problem with that.
No.
Right.
No. I'd rather watch my nephew play than watch the Gators play in some bowl game before Christmas.
All right. I hear you. Give me my bowl game. All right. So let's talk NFL. You ready to replace Brock Purdy? You ready to blow up what y'all got so we know that? What else?
I'm not talking about the Niners because they're not a team that's competing. So I'll just talk about teams that are competing, dog.
Okay.
Right now, it's hard to see anybody beating the Detroit Lions in the NFC because that offense is steam rolling. They got so many weapons, and Jared Goff is playing out of his mind. Dude, in the last 3 games, Carlton, Jared Goff's completion percentage is 85%. 85%. 85%. 85% is a ridiculous number for your completion percentage, man. And they can run the ball down your throat. They play this physical brand of football. I am a little worried about the defense because Hutchinson went out with that nasty broken leg. But right now, if you ask me in the NFC, man, Detroit Lions, baby. And since the Niners aren't competing, make room on that bandwagon for your boy. I'm
probably
all
you and me
for
both.
the Lions. Even Minnesota played a good game, but Detroit just was able to get him. Dog, you knew Minnesota was going to lose when they couldn't kill off the clock when they had that ball. The minute they gave Detroit back the ball, you were like, you're in a little bit of trouble here. So Detroit's impressive. Dog, Kansas City, you just got to respect it, man, because they don't look that good, but they're 6-0. They're the only undefeated team. So you just got to respect it. Patrick Mahomes doesn't look good this year. Like, I don't care how much they slurp him up on TV, but when you watch him play, he looks like just another guy at quarterback. To me, the credit in Kansas City right now, Andy Reid, man. Like, Andy Reid is just proving to be that guy. He's the best coach in the NFL right now. He's the best coach in the NFL right now. And then you combine that with the fact that he has the best assistant coach in the NFL in Spagnuolo. You get what you see with the Kansas City Chiefs. Doc,
what about Mike Tomlin?
No, he's better than Mike Tomlin. He's better than Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin, but he's better than Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin also doesn't have Spagnuolo. So Spagnuolo, there's no team that plays a better brand of complementary football than the Chiefs. Like, the special teams, the defense, the offense, they all just play really well together, dog. And when you watch the Chiefs play, to me, what you realize about them is they're not going to beat themselves. They're just going to stay in it. And their mindset is like, eventually you will beat yourself and we'll take advantage of your mistakes. And that's what it looks like. And it works, man. It works. They don't beat themselves. So, but, if you ask me who I thought the best team in the AFC was right now, I would say Baltimore. But Baltimore, until they show us in the playoffs, it's hard to trust. So
they got to play the Chiefs. At some point, you would imagine, if all things remain as they are, Baltimore has to beat the Chiefs.
We've seen Baltimore lose at home to Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. Like, Baltimore, until they show us they could get it done in the playoffs with Lamar Jackson, it's to be seen because we haven't seen it.
Well, he got a new strong weapon in Derrick Henry. So
I mean, until I see it, I believe in Baltimore, but they have to prove it. So,
what about that team out of Washington? They are over. They are exceeding expectations.
Hey man, if you're a Commanders fan, man, you got to be excited. You got you a quarterback. But at the end of the day, I also wonder, one, are they too young? Because most teams have a little learning curve they go through in the playoffs. That's one. And then two, I don't. Dan Quinn got that defense playing a lot better. But at the end of the day, are they good enough? Is that defense good enough, man, to stop the Detroit Lions from scoring? And
yeah, I'm not picking them for the Super Bowl. I'm seeing them as a
think they are going to
playoff
make the
team.
playoffs. Yep.
Yeah, playoff team, significant improvement, exceeding expectations, et cetera, et cetera. But
I mean,
they're not beating Detroit.
Right now, though, the Commanders are the favorite in the NFC East. They look like the best team in the NFC East.
Let me say it different. I don't think they're going to beat Detroit, but the way Jaden Daniels plays,
gives them a chance.
They're going to have a chance.
Oh, they have a chance in any game. Tua's coming back next week. Man, all I'll say is Tua said he's not going to wear the little Guardian helmet. To me, that's crazy. I'd put on that big-ass helmet, and I need all the protection I can get. So
I appreciate how they try to make it blend in with the rest of the helmet.
Yeah, man. I'm watching a buddy wear it right now. Tua need to put on that big-ass helmet. I don't blame the man for wanting to go back out there and play because that's his life's work. It's his passion. I get that. But you got to put on that big-ass helmet, man. You got to do it.
Yeah, Tua. Do it, Tua. Please, Tua. Please. If you coming back with everything we've seen, everything that's happened, protect yourself, my brother.
You can't worry about the internet making fun of you. You can't worry about, our producer.
Oh, they going to kill him. You going to kill him.
Making fun of you. The internet's going to
You're going to make fun of Nitty for being a Dolphin fan being a fan of a team whose quarterback is wearing the Guardian hat. His jokes is coming.
Oh, I'm going to make fun of it, but he needs to put it on. He needs to put it on. He needs to put it on.
All right, so that's NCAA, that's NFL. Give us a baseball update. I know we have a World Series now.
A classic World Series, dog. Dodgers, Yankees. This is a classic World Series, man. For those of you that don't know the history of baseball, back in the day when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers, they couldn't get over the hump that was the New York Yankees, except for 1 year when they got the World Series with Jackie Robinson. So this is an absolute classic World Series, two biggest markets in the country. You got all kinds of star power with Shohei and Mookie Betts and Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and Juan Soto. So I'm excited for this World Series, Carlton. I won't lie to you. I will be tuning into every game. And, as a neutral, because I'm a Red Sox fan, what I'm hoping for is we go to Game 7, baby. We go to Game 7 and let the chips fall where they may. So I'm excited for it.
Well, I am not a Yankees fan, so I would be.
I hate the Yankees.
Dodgers.
I'm going for the Dodgers. Yes.
I'm going for the Dodgers.
Yes.
All right. NBA tips off tomorrow. I know it's still football season, but let me ask, what are you most looking forward to out of this season?
Well, I'm an Orlando Magic fan, and we have hope. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is the Magic to continue to show improvement. I'm excited for that. Also, I want to see if Golden State can get back into contention. I'm interested to see what Klay does with the Dallas Mavericks, because I feel like Klay got a little chip on his shoulder. I'm dying to see what the New York Knicks look like after all the moves they made, man. So, because, the Knicks have faith, Carlton. They believe.
I know they had a major trade. Remind me, what did they do?
They traded for Mikal Bridges from the Nets, which gives them another long forward on the perimeter that can switch everything. And then they traded for Karl-Anthony Towns.
That's right.
They got one of the biggest lineups in the league who is very versatile. So I'm interested. I'm dying to see what they do. But in the East, I'm dying to see what the Sixers do. But I don't feel you can trust the Sixers simply because of Embiid's health. Like, I don't think Embiid can stay healthy. He's already talking about he's not going to play back-to-back games this year. So, I think the Sixers have a team. Every time you count the Miami Heat out, the Miami Heat seem to show you that you should never count them out. And the West is loaded, man. You got the Nuggets, you got the Timberwolves. We didn't even talk about the Celtics in the East, the champs. So
I don't like talking about the Celtics, but proceed.
Yeah, but you got the NBA season, man, is going to be exciting. I can't wait to see it. The only disappointing thing for me is enjoy it while you can, America, because this is the last year of the Inside the NBA crew. Dog, I'm gonna cry like a baby that last episode. I love that.
Well, they were talking about not even coming back for this season, right? So
no, they wouldn't do us like that. They wouldn't do us like that.
Because Barkley, he's coming back, they're coming back. So we get a full season of them. We get to give them their flowers before they go.
Yes, you have a full season. Everyone's back for the final year. So the chemistry they have is unbelievable, dog. Like, just absolutely unbelievable. With the point guard and honorary brother, according to them, Ernie Johnson, running the show. Ernie, the Jet, Shaq.
The epitome of patience. The epitome of class and patience.
Every curator should strive to be like Ernie.
Do. They do. And realize that they too fall short.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna cherish watching that show one last time, man, because it's been a staple in my life forever now.
It's been 20 years or something like that.
It's like 20 plus years, dog.
That's crazy. Because I watched Charles Barkley play, maybe not at the start of his rookie year or the first couple seasons, but I feel like I watched the breadth of his career. So to know I did that, and to know that I've been watching him in this chapter for 20 plus years, 20 or so years, that's time flies when you're having fun, baby.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited to see this last year.
All right. So are you entertained? You know what it is when we get here, what you listen to, what you watch, what you read. So what, since we last got together, have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to, man? Dog, I've just been listening to a fantasy football podcast, man. I'm so addicted to fantasy football. It's like one of my passions in life. So, I have a lot on the line this Monday night, and I'm hoping my players that are on my teams can come through for me. I've been giving them a pep talk. I feel like the boys are ready, Carlton. So,
all right.
Some of my teams let me down this week, but that's the life I chose. So
Yep. Well, I'm into both, include you. My cap was one till somebody convinced me otherwise. So I did great in one league, still trying to get into that playoff spot, because you just got to make the playoffs and then it's on from there. But I did get smashed in another. So I'm good in one. Nothing to hope for in another.
What I'll say about fantasy football, man, is it'll have you watching the most shitty game in the history of the world, because I damn sure watched New Orleans versus Denver because I had Denver's defense. So you're just sitting there and you're praying your players do something.
Yeah. That Pittsburgh game had me on edge because I had Najee Harris. My opponent had their receiver number 14. And it looked like him and Russell Wilson had found that magical connection. And he was getting the ball to him on a regular basis. And it looked like he had an opportunity he had a chance to get to at least 2 other touchdowns. They just didn't make the connection. And then they throwing it. Pickens, yeah. They throwing it instead of running it. So I got my points. I kept my lead, so I'm good. But I was on edge.
Oh, you're gonna because I'm in this league Carlton's talking about. He's definitely winning this matchup.
Yeah, I'm good. All right. So I've been listening to Pac, man. you know, all this Diddy talk, and it's brought a lot of Tupac out. A lot of talk about Tupac. So I pulled out Men Against the World, man. That's my album when I want to detach, when I want to just be in my space and contemplate. That even the time at which I listened to the album growing up, it just always registered in that consciousness spot for me. And then I think it captures, for Tupac to be my favorite rap artist, I feel like captures the complexity and totality of the man he was, the anger, the frustration, but also the son, the romantic, the politician, the Black Panther, like all of that to me is what is captured in that album. I think it's a masterpiece in music.
I definitely agree, dog. I reach for that Tupac when I'm in my feelings, because there's no, he's not my favorite rapper like you, but there's no greater like person that could speak to something you're going through, in my opinion, in rap's history than him. So, you know, I reach for that Pac too when I'm in certain emotional states, because, you know, like you said, like the anger, the frustration, the sensitivity, like on Me Against the World, and, you know, I know everybody knows the song Dear Mama, dog, but if you listen to what he's saying in Dear Mama, it's like, God dang, like when the part where he's like, even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was the Black queen, mama. It's like, nah, this man's telling you his mom was a crack fiend, but, you know, even through all that, she was still doing her best to be like a good mom as best she could, you know, working, you know, with what she had, just working with the scraps you were given, you know, and it's like, you know, my mom was a single mom who raised 4 children, and you know, she wasn't perfect, but, you know, she made the most with the scraps she was given. So yeah, he really does speak a lot to
the part that always gets that final tug is even though I act crazy, I gotta thank the Lord that you made me. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. So there's
that part. Yeah, and it's heartfelt, you know, and as much as he exposed things about her that maybe you and I didn't know, had no business, no need to know, it just exposed a rapper's heart. So yeah, that's always a go-to. I haven't pulled it out in a good little while, but definitely pulled it out today, a couple of days ago. I've been vibing with it. All right, what you been watching? If
man,
anything besides sports.
Dog, you know what I've been watching besides sports, man. I tell y'all every week this, man.
All right. So then we know what you've been watching. I know it's a cooking show.
Man.
Talked what new gifts, what new palettes are you acquiring to
me and you have
explore?
The same bucket list thing, because the shows I've been watching recently have me just like fiending to learn how to make pasta by hand, dog. Like that is a life's mission right now, is to learn how to make pasta by hand. And I am determined to learn it. I will learn it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to master it, but it's just something I want to do.
You internationally known, so you gonna take it over to Europe to learn, or you gonna try to find somebody here? What you gonna do?
Well, okay, for full disclosure, I did actually, when I was in Italy the last time, man, I did go to a cooking school and class, and we got down, dog. We got down, but I want to learn it to like to where I have it by memorization to the point where like when I want pasta, I just make it by hand.
How long? Because I, like you, aspire to make my own pasta. I haven't studied it. I have not lifted a finger in order to actually make this happen. I just working on the assumption I don't have the equipment and all that right now. But that being said, if I woke up tomorrow morning and said I want pasta tonight, how long would it take me to create the pasta that I would ultimately be eating?
Well, Doc, I don't know how long it would take to create it because me and you would probably have to try it many times. But you know, when you have fresh pasta, dog, like when you drop it into the water, like it doesn't take no 8 to 10 minutes to cook. Like that bad boy's ready in like a minute. So,
oh, really?
Like, oh yeah, like dog, once you drop it, it's almost like instantaneously ready to go. Because you know, the pasta we have, man, that shit they have to do to it to keep it so
it's
preserved
enriched.
that long.
It's enriched.
Yeah, and you know, and from what I can see, man, you just need eggs and flour, dog. Like eggs and flour seems to be the main component.
And knowing what you're doing. You need eggs, flour,
and know
and
what you're
some
doing.
know-how.
And the beauty in it is like what kind of pasta are you gonna make and how can you cut it to make it into the pasta that you're trying to do. So I love cooking, man. And one of the reasons why I love cooking is like and Carlton knows this about myself, and so does our producer, Nitty. When I was younger, you know, I really lacked like patience. Like I truly like lacked that. It took me a long time in life to learn that patience was a virtue. But when you're cooking, dog, what you realize is, and I don't know if you could speak to this, Carlton, but when you're cooking, if your energy's off, if your cheese off, it somehow ends up in the food. Mm-hmm. So you got to be in a relaxed state where you're like taking your time, make sure your cuts are right, you know, and have respect for the process when you're making food, which I just absolutely love, dog. Yep. I absolutely love.
Yep. That's the holidays for me, whether it's Thanksgiving and or Christmas. I typically do cooking for both of those. So part of the holiday, it's included in the holiday process for me, and I add it to the experience. But it includes getting my mind right. It includes, you know, I don't have to be 8 hours worth of rested, but I'm not stressed. I'm not agitated. I'm not rushing to get from one place to the next. It's not a quick meal. And so, you know, if I start cooking at 9 in the morning and I'm not done till 3 or 4, so be it. But I'm in the zone and in the mode. And like you said, my chi is aligned for the mission. But yeah, I almost insist on being able to have that space. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, dog, it takes about 65 minutes to make fresh pasta. It takes less than 4 minutes to cook it.
65 if you okay.
All and right. You know, if you cook it more than 4 minutes, you're probably messing up. So
okay, all right. Well, yeah, I wasn't sure. So consider me educated. I'll add that into the pasta making journey.
And that's another thing, man. I don't care what they say about the carbs in pasta. I'm gonna be eating pasta till the day I die. Like it's my favorite food. You know, make sure you salt that water, no matter what pasta you're cooking. It should be like the ocean. But yeah, man, pasta. Watching cooking and watching how to make pasta has been my new obsession in life, dog.
Mm-hmm. Well, I caught the first episode of The Penguin, starring Colin Farrell.
I heard it's so good. It's so good.
I think Colin Farrell is a good actor. Some maybe even a great actor, but I feel like in a lot of movies that I've watched of him, there's some overacting, and it may just be me and his aura, and I may be the only one that feels that way. But I say that to say, because he's makeuped up, he's a different person. It gives him freedom to go all in. And when I tell you, like, this is not the Penguin from the Batman animated. It's not. I thought Danny DeVito was a great Penguin back in that original, but this is a different kind of Penguin. But when I tell you Colin Farrell is recreated into this role, and the way he moves, the way he talks, he's from what, Ireland or Scotland? He got a whole accent when he talks regularly. But this dude, this Cobblepot, I think that's his last name, that he's playing, oh my goodness. And I've only seen the first episode.
Tell it's him.
You can't tell it's him. You got to know it's him. So that's first how good they did with the makeup. But I've decided that I'm gonna wait till all the episodes have come out, so I don't have to be week to week at any point fiending for the next episode.
Oswald,
but just to watch the first episode, I'm all in, man. I am all in on what the Penguin is.
I've always been a big fan of Batman and the characters, because I always feel like the Batman and the characters in the movies or the shows are depictions of our society in a lot of ways. So it's very relatable to me, man. Like, that Batman with Heath Ledger as the Joker, dog. Like, when you see Heath Ledger's character and the wise man, the butler, Alfred, was kept trying to tell Batman, like, you keep thinking you can find a weakness in this man, not realizing, like, there's nothing you had to hold over him, because all he wanted to do was see the world burn. So, like, you can't get him with money because he doesn't care about that. The dangerous man is the man that you can't threaten because he has nothing to lose. And and society creates those monsters for whatever reason. So, the Penguin is another, like, character that's just fascinating in so many ways.
I lost my thought. We were talking about Alfred and Batman, but anyway, yeah. So Penguin's good. Penguin is great. So I do look forward to.
Shoot, I wanted to watch that new Joker until I realized.
That's what I was gonna bring up. But
until I realized.
So
it was
to talk about,
musical.
the Joker though is to be a fan of Batman, to be a fan of the Batman, I guess, multiverse, however they define it. I'm gonna hold off on that Joker. It'll be streaming one day. I'll at least give it a glance at that point. But the reviews are enough that I'm not gonna be running after that one.
I'll never watch it. I'm never gonna watch it because I don't. Doc, you have to be a special musical for me to want to watch it, and
I'm gonna watch it.
No, I can't. Every time I watch a musical, all I can think to myself is, like, why the hell are they singing? Why aren't they just
talking? Okay, so then quick question, quick response. What's your favorite musical?
Grease.
I didn't know what you were gonna say, but I wouldn't expect it. Grease.
Grease is my all-time favorite musical.
Okay. Man. All right. I am a Sound of Music fan. That is my jam.
Big shout out to my boy John Travolta in Grease, man.
True that. Julie Andrews, I love you, Julie. All right.
That little shimmy they did.
I could do my Sound of Music tunes, but I don't want to lose any subscribers. What have you been reading?
What have I been reading, Doc? I have been studying up on the Enlightenment. I have been reading a lot about the Enlightenment, man, and just a fascinating time in world history. There's so many things that we got out of the Enlightenment that we still have today, from the philosophers of that era that are still incorporated today. Just fascinating to learn about it to me. Love making the correlations between what are still in existence today. Just to me, that's the era that gives us the scientific method, but not only the scientific method, but they apply the scientific method to society and culture and all these things. So I find it to be fascinating, you know. But the other interesting part about the Enlightenment is that they're talking about, like, you know, the divine right of kings is nothing, because the king is nothing more than a man. He's no better than me at birth. None of this stuff, right? And they're talking about equality and justice and liberty and all these things. But, you know, as you delve deeper into it, you realize that they're not talking about this for all people. They're talking about this in the context of white men, essentially, because women were still viewed as inferior. People of color were still viewed as inferior. So these people knew what equality and equity looked like. They just didn't, they only wanted it to keep it to a certain group of people, which is maddening when you think about it, because, you know, these were intelligent human beings that understood what these things should look like. They just wanted to preserve it essentially for white males during this time. It's like, you know, you look at our Declaration and all this stuff, and it's heavily inspired by the Enlightenment. And that's why you end up with a phrase like all men are created equal. But when they said all men are created equal, they were talking about white men. You know, you can't tell me all men are created equal and you're a country that has slavery. It's hard to equate those two. You know, it's kind of it's very hypocritical. So you know, the other part, though, I will say that I appreciate about the Enlightenment is they start talking about, like, the importance of just not taking anything at face value. You know, you don't need the church to have your relationship with God. You can cut that middleman out and just have a direct relationship with God, where you educate yourself on the scripture and find your faith through that method, instead of counting on someone else to provide that faith for you. The other part I like about it too, Carlton, is this is the time period where people are getting more educated, and they would and people couldn't get educated because they weren't writing books or information in their vernacular, in their language. And because these gatekeepers kept that information away from people, what it essentially led to was a society that was just dependent upon them, which just shows how knowledge truly is power, man. Like, knowledge is power. If you don't educate yourself, either through the means of the school system or educate yourself on your own, you are a man that's fighting the fight without bullets in the gun.
Touche. Messages and lessons from Uncle Mo. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I hit a wall with 10x is better than 2x. I'm gonna get through it, but the narrator, he's pushing my ear buttons the wrong way, so I had to do it, and I do most of my books by audio, so I'm slow going my way through that one, but I stay read upon something, and your comments, especially when you talk religion, faith, God, church, is I have been reading the Bible in chronological order. It's 365-day reading. I'm on day 100 and something, like 110, 115, but I'm still in Old Testament, and I'm in 2 Samuel, so I am reading about King David's journey. And only, you know, as you already said, I encourage anybody who's listening, if you are a Christian, have desires to be, or even just Christian curious, of course, find a guide, get the book, and go read for yourself. But to have grown up Catholic, born, raised Catholic, to be a man of faith, a follower of Christ, a believer in God, and all the things that I say that I am, this chronological journey has been profound. To still be in Old Testament, I get where a lot of people who opt to be critical may be offer perspective about the violence and the things of that nature, because it for sure is present in there. People are getting their heads chopped off on a regular in Old Testament, but this was the way of the world, which isn't too far off the ways that the world exhibits today. But what I think really the piece that stands out right now the most to me is just truly how complex and flawed humans are, have been, still are. And to know what I know today, God loves us anyway. And so I've been enjoying this journey. It's a lot in it, a lot of names, a lot of details when you bring in chronicles and numbers and things that I'm not retaining, but to be able to know how we got from Abraham to David has been insightful. And it's a lot of power in scripture. So I encourage and implore those who seek to find in scripture. And so on that, we'll take a break and be right back. Welcome back to Unsolicited Genius. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow wherever we are. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is where the show will always be found. Anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, where else? LinkedIn, Facebook, all the places except X. We no longer exist on X. We can't do it. It's too much. It's too much going down in the X's. Like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, thumbs up, do all those things. Let us know how you feel. Let us know what you like. Shout out to the super producer, Joe Nitty. Thank you, as always, for making us look good, sound good, do good, etc., etc. And thank you to our sponsors, Legacy Wear. Your legacy awaits. Find them at www.legacywearus.com. Megacore CBD, broad spectrum hemp-derived CBD, the way nature intended it. Find them at www.megacorecbd.com. Aura Rainwater, hydrate and elevate. Find out more about them at www.aurarainwater.com. And Unsolicited Genius, a consciousness company. That is us. That is what we are. That is what we are doing. Find out more about who we are, where we are. If you want to get the links to all the places, go to unsolicitedgenius.com. Any shout outs you want to give before you get out of here, Uncle Mo?
Shout out always to the super producer Niddy. Shout out to my man. I'm gonna keep shouting her out because just like she's a phenomenal young person. She's doing much better. She's out of the ICU. So shout out to my former student, Braylon. Love you to death. You're my forever hero. So just keep fighting, my angel, and you'll be back to doing your thing any minute now. So
amen, amen, amen. I want to give my shout out to Brother Craig. He didn't make it today, but he out there doing his basketball coach thing. So he is in his passion, which is why he wasn't able to join us today. So shout out to you, Brother Craig. Shout out to your team. I hope that you all do well and be nice to the kids. I know you love them. Be nice to the kids. So for today's Thoughts of Genius, I have a question. Do you see people or do you see the issues? As a man of God, as I stated earlier, I will tell us, we all, each individual, me, you, Uncle Mo, them, she, her, hims, thems, whomever's, are all created in the image of God. So when we fuss and fight and strife, what are we seeing? Who are we strifing with? Is it the issue or is it the person? Persons are flawed. Persons makes mistakes. Persons always have room for growth, room to improve, room for opportunity. That's true for me. That's true for you. That's true for Mo. That's true for Joe. It's true for us all. But in our polarized landscape of the USA, and it's true across the globe, we are doing a lot of fighting. We're doing a lot of arguing. We're doing a lot of shooting and killings and things about traffic violations. What's the issue? What's the concern? What's the threat? I propose that if you spend time with that, when you spend time with the concern, when you spend time with what is truly at risk, you will find most of it is internal misperceptions, but none of it has anything to do with the person that God has placed across from you. Join us next week, same Genius time, same Genius channel. And for whenever you are, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Craig D, Mo You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.